Hey everyone, are we live? Are we live? Let's see if we are live here. I'm trying something new, trying to go live on the channel a little more, trying to see if that will get us some results. Is it working? Hey, it's working. I'm live right now. So hit like, share, subscribe, because we are going to spend a little bit of time here looking at the thunderstorm threat in BC this afternoon. What's going on out there? There's no thunderstorm watches, of course. I didn't expect anything that interesting to be happening. All the active weather really, in terms of warnings right now, is in Ontario and Quebec and places like that. We could look at that in a few minutes if you'd like. In the meantime, I'm setting up here to. I'm surprised it's even working. I'm like, just getting used to my own tech and my own gadgets here. So I want to first of all, I'm going to put it on scene for a second. We'll look at this picture here, where we're at this afternoon. Reporting 14 in Williams Lake. Nice and warm. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Click on the weather radar here. We'll go for the cheap and easy radar right now, see where the storms are forming out there, and then we'll, in a second, we'll switch over to the more precise radar. But as you can see, we got a little bit of convective cells out there in the South Caribou, and also popping up into the West Caribou all the way down through the Chilcotin. I should have grabbed a glass of water before I started this. You may have to forgive me for a second if I do that. Rainfall down in the Vancouver area, down in Seattle, Everett, Mount Vernon, taking some rain right now this afternoon. We do have lightning already now forming in the storm right here by Bridgeport. Some ways east of Bridgeport. A couple lightning strikes there now this afternoon. And those are some of the cells we're watching. A little bit of rain through the Columbias, around Revelstoke and whatnot. It's probably still rain up on the pass there. But here's our story. Here's these cells. We're waiting to see if any of these become active this afternoon. What did they have on for thunderstorms? What were they suggesting? Here's what we were looking at. You can see kind of the bend in the isobar here. That's generally a clue. And I had this great thing set up where I could see comments, and I accidentally closed it because I don't know how to use this program still well enough. So I'm working on that right now. Nonetheless, trying my best to figure out how to do multiple things on here. So what I want to do actually is I'm going to switch over to the radar proper. This guy. I'm going to take my face out of the equation for a minute too when I do so. Let's go over to him. Let's see what we have on the better looking perspective here. Looks like that area in the high country outside Macleese Lake's got a bit of a cell there, showing some red top. We got developments here in Wells going on. I actually have the time lapse outside right now, trying its best to capture the ever-changing and growing towering cumulus here. We haven't had much precipitation yet, but mostly just things growing taller and taller and taller this afternoon. Looks like this right around Horsefly, we've had some cells sort of sitting there off and on for the last little bit. So Horsefly is definitely in an area that could be seeing a little bit of showers, convective showers. These are the areas we'll probably be watching to see if much forms in the next little while. As well as out towards the Chilcotin. Looks like a little cell by Hansville might be dropping just a little bit of rain at the moment. Same with out by Chesacut. These are the guys we'll be watching this afternoon to see if they get a little bit taller. If you want to support the channel, you could become a channel member. That helps. Definitely. Throw down a buy me a coffee or something like that. Always appreciate that kind of stuff very, very much. Keeping a guy in business around here, a lot of you have been. Yeah, just enjoying my afternoon quite here this afternoon. It's a lovely time of year, this nice transition into spring weather, up and down, bouncing up and down. Okay, let's just close this for a minute, and we'll turn window back on, turn our display off. So that's where I'm at right now, at least, friends. trying out some new things so that when thunderstorm season comes, can I fire off live streams quick and easily here and get them to operate. Hey, Jamie Bobamy, just ended your work day and got baked. Yeah, enjoy my favorite weather person. Awesome, good to see. Haven't got to the post office yet today. No, as a matter of fact, that's a good call. I haven't, and it's been a little while since I've been down and over there. Granted. And the reason why I have the camera set up in such a weird place right now is I have the stand outside, getting a nice time lapse, which I'll have on the channel here, of course, as well. So, things I'm just trying to, in some ways, play around here and get a little bit of a taste on how I want to make this operate when I decide to go do more and more live streaming. How that'll work, how I'll make the monetization work, how, there's things I just got to set up ahead of time to, that I need to get better at this, and especially because of the show itself. Okay, I think I'm ready to go on to the next thing here for a second. So let's set that up. Let's look at Canada on the whole, and we'll come back to BC in a matter of minutes. As you can see, not much. Warmer in the western half, colder on the eastern half of the continent right now. That is the story. And what do we have for these watches down here? Sorry, these aren't watches. Weather advisories. So flurries. I'm talking about cooler temperatures down there. Expecting flurries in southwestern Ontario in April. It's unusual, I guess, a little bit. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow there. Reduced visibility, blowing snow through Tuesday afternoon. Heavy flurries will continue as a cold front passes through the area and lake effect snow develops in behind. It's that lake effect snow thing again, friends. They've been getting nailed so much this year by it. Strong northwesterly winds will develop early this evening, further reducing visibility and local blowing snow. Flurries will weaken Tuesday afternoon. I really do need to grab a glass of water here. I don't think I was quite prepared for what I was going to be doing here. So if you give me just 20 seconds. I sort of clicked it and I was like, oh, look, it's working. And now I got to figure out what I'm doing. So strong winds in Ontario, gusting 80 kilometers an hour Tuesday morning. Gross, man. They got the worst weather. Snowfall warnings. So get this one. 15 to 25 centimeters an hour. And that's that whole section. That's Espanola, Sudbury, Lake Nipissing, and whatnot. 15 to 25 centimeters with northerly gusty winds. Cold, chilly. Will further reduce visibility and local blowing snow. It will taper to flurries only by Tuesday morning, man. That's nasty. If you go down to Parry Sound, 15 centimeters maybe there until Tuesday morning. Nasty. Go to Barry's Bay. Ottawa Valley side, snowfall warning. They get 25 as well for Bancroft. So that's areas close to Mum there, and then running all the way east of, more or less towards the Quebec border. Could see 15 centimeters of snow there ending Tuesday afternoon. A low pressure system will bring heavy snow to the area this evening. Northwesterly winds gusting 60. Gross, man. Gross. And on the Quebec side, maybe 20 centimeters there. How do you like that? So, I mean, if we're getting some of this crappy spring weather in BC, let's not complain. We're not getting 15 centimeters. We're not getting anything like these poor suckers are getting down there right now. So back when we were looking at thunderstorms, where are the thunderstorms supposed to be today in the BC interior? Popping. That's a quick run through, so we'll go back, slow down here for a second, and try to ascertain what we were just looking at. And I think this graphic here at 3 o'clock, which is soon, right? 3:16. Okay, that was 16 minutes ago. This gives us sort of an impression of where some of those cells that are popping right now may become more active. A little bit of a line near Highway 97. Some of that higher country just to the northwest of Quesnel, and maybe a little bit on the east side as well. I don't think we'll see lightning in these convective clouds here in Wells right now. It's not out of the question. Alexandria and on down. Looks like a bit of a ring around Williams Lake. There's sort of that stretch there around 100 Mile House. This looks a little less pretty than maybe I was hoping. Was hoping to see a little bit more reds in there, I guess. That's what it looked like yesterday. Nonetheless, we do have things that are happening right now. Go back on the radar and look at where some of these cells have moved to. We got our first lightning strike. There it is. Is that just due east of McAllister? 2 lightning strikes in there. On the 8300 Forest Service Road. That took a strike. And then on the hillside just near it. So it's probably like fairly rapid succession, like 1-2, I would guess, for those lightning strikes. So first lightning strikes now. Isn't that cool? Knew it. So that wasn't happening when I started, but I knew it was just about time. And again, we're not looking at anything crazy happening today. No, but we can see in the short wave bend here where that cloud is lining up, sort of as predicted. And that's the area that I'm expecting to see, basically this sort of triangle kind of, although not too far to the east because we don't have time today. And maybe it's too cold in the mountains too. It could be that. Definitely chilly. What's our reported temperatures right now? I mean, here in Wells, 10.3 degrees. It's fairly nice. 14 in Williams Lake. Pretty nice. Seem to be short on reports. Don't have a Prince George report even. What's going on here? Yeah, so we're short on temperature reports this afternoon for some reason. Even mine in Wells isn't showing up on here. So I'm on the reporting service. So we'll compare. We'll head down to where these lightning strikes are happening, just south of a Soyuz. A couple down there. So that might cross in towards you there. Yeah, that's looking okay. Let's get a good zoom in on this. There's our cloud there. What if we go blue? Can we see something better? It's not popping huge, but a little bit. You can see how fluffy it is in white. You more or less see like the convection driving. Same here. You can see the top's growing a little taller. You can definitely tell on this guy. Hit the infrared. How cold is that cloud top right now? -30. Chilly up there. Chilly at that cloud top. Definitely. And that will definitely drive some convection. For sure. Shall we head back to our better radar image here in a second? We'll do that. Go check in on comments. How's everyone doing there? Thanks for stopping by. Trying to just experiment a little bit with streaming and get into the habit of it. So when we do have actual severe storm days, I'm smooth and ready to go. You can hit like and share and subscribe, and you can also leave buy me a coffee or something like that better. Oh, nice. Thanks, Elaine. I will go check that. So wonderful. Yeah, I'm just scraping by right now. Cloudy and warm and PG. T-shirt weather. Okay, well, that's at least a weather report, even if we don't have an official one right now at a Prince George. We are going to do this trick again and turn off. I have to go to scene and do this. Okay, 1 second. I got to turn off that, put that on. We'll go back to our radar here, which I accidentally closed. We'll try to pick up where these lightning strikes are at and get a better look at them now. Ooh. There it is. Nice red top. 2 lightning shots. We have lightning in the Caribou, friends. It's happening. Just north of Big Lake Ranch. That's east-northeast of McLeese Lake. Straight east of McAllister. To the west-southwest of Hydraulic. Nice little cell out there. Nice little cell out there. Shall we see where they've been going today? Who's next? Who do you think's going to pop next? Who's looking good? Some of these guys look pretty good right here. This guy might grow a little taller. That might produce a flasher. That's really out in the middle of nowhere. That's like 100 road or something like that is probably somewhere in that neck of the woods. It's way out there. No one lives there. No. This is far away from the radar, and it's picking up pretty good. Red top. So I would think that something in there could turn active. That if they're showing up on radar that far away, almost to the end of the radar is reliability. All right, well, what else we got? Because we have this guy down by Osoyoos that just threw a couple bolts. Let's see what we can see on here. Could be a little bit of snow on the mountains around Revelstoke. That's a pretty weak return on radar. That looks like a snow return to me. It's at the very end of the radar range, though. That's something we really struggle with in BC. We need more radar coverage yet. We really do. But, if you're in the middle of the province, it's not bad. But if you're on the edges, you're on your own, kind of. A couple cells there that could grow up. But here's our guy by Osoyoos. Again, that's at the end of radar range 2. 4 lightning shots out of that guy. It looks like it's coming right for you, Osoyoos. Heads up for everyone in Osoyoos. Lightning shots. Coming your way. Unfortunately, I find the radar coverage in this section of Washington State not great. Like, nothing has ever looked good on radar that I've seen. Like, it just isn't a really high res radar out there. Nonetheless, it shows some of the cells have a motion that would show it that it's favorable this guy to move into Osoyoos. It's if we kind of copy some of the direction these are moving, look a little bit north and infer that, more or less that's heading towards Osoyoos. If we come back up here, though, what we can do is we can always ourselves, let's zoom out a little bit, watch the motion of things today. There we go. Push play on tape. See some of that precipitation through today moving into the Monashees, in towards the Kootenays. That gives you kind of an idea of the motion that things are tending to move today. More or less northeast, a dead northeast reckoning, more or less. So that shows us again that our little storm by Osoyoos, it's probably coming right for you. It's going to pass somewhere nearby. Maybe not right over town, somewhere on that 90, or somewhere on that Highway 3 section, I should say. And you can see where the cloud's starting to make itself known. Maybe just skip town and have kind of the edge go over top of Osoyoos. Doesn't mean you won't see a few sprinkles of rain. You might hear a couple rumbles of thunder. That is moving into your direction. That's the only one right now on radar that looks to be heading towards a community in a way that you would experience. Back to our cell in the Caribou. Nice big red spike. So let's see what kind of this is the radar return we're getting. 52. So we're a little bit short probably of could be grapple hail in there, but you need it to be a few dBz higher in return before you're talking about hail. Sometimes 55, 60. Generally, if you're getting 60 return on your radar, that's like, at what level is the beam bouncing back? So that's a 52 dBz return. Not quite hail quality. How far from Macleese Lake are we? Talking 18 kilometers out of Macleese. And if we go to the other side here, do this. 16K from hydraulic, but it's going to pass probably into the mountains, I would think. Well, if you see, let's just actually do this for a second. Oh. Draw a bit of a line to the direction that things seem to be going. It's probably going, towards Ghost Lake or somewhere between Barkerville and Likely. Maybe over Yanks Peak somewhere if it comes a bit more to the north. We can gather a few things about storm direction again by hitting play, watching where things are heading, watching where they've been going this afternoon. A little bit more northerly, I noticed already in the Caribou. Things were really moving to the northeast down south. This looks like a little bit more of a northeast, maybe even northerly, a lot of it. So that's telling me that maybe there's a chance that this comes right here to Barkerville area. I really should go out there and check my camera. Make sure it's still recording. But yeah, there's some beautiful looking convection here actually right now. I wonder if you can see it. We'll shut this down for now. And we'll set that back up here in a second. Camera only, come on. What's going on here? Oh, my camera's turned off. That's what it is. Okay. Oh, it's too bright. Oh, you can't see it. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait until I... Oh, boy. You have to wait until I set up. Hey, that's good enough, right? Till I go and get that camera out and check the image. Okay. Let's head back to Windy Satellite. We'll just cross-reference again. Here's actually a cool feature on here. We can show you for a second. And it's Radar Plus Satellite, what it's called. This is a fairly new feature, Radar Plus. So this can be useful sometimes. You can see it's got the radar image overlaid on the satellite image, so we can kind of compare what we're looking at and where the clouds are at. Problem is, if you go to infrared, it turns off the radar. But still gives us kind of an idea where that one cell is. With any luck, yeah. Well, I still don't think it'll survive long enough to get here, but that's kind of neat. That maybe we get a turn here in the Caribou Mountains. Maybe a couple lightning shots come out of that. Things are still growing tall out there. That's what I am seeing when I look out the window. So appreciate everybody coming here, and let's just see what we got for comments going on. Wow, people are watching. 11 in Alder Flats and raining. Sunny up on the Heart. Okay, yeah. Says 13 degrees up there. That's nice, Prince George, Shelley. 9 and raining in Lumbee. Raining there. Yeah, sun popping in and out of the clouds in downtown Prince George. So nice and warm. Loving it. Space Weather Live's looking good for Aurora tonight. Oh, it says Jamie. Good one. Good one. That's cool. Neato. I'm just going to look at the phone here for a second and see if anything new is coming up for lightning strikes. Wow, there's quite a bit that popped out of that cell, actually, north of Big Lake Ranch. We have on here, 3 more, 4 more. Looks like 15 or more at least lightning shots in that guy out there. So that's an area, I don't know, probably not very dry out there, but still quite a few shots now outside of Soyuz 2. We got 5 new ones on the town side. On the back side, the storm looks like 2 new ones there. And then down in Washington State, it's a lot more active, like at Rocky Butte. It looks like that one's just thrown off quite a bit of lightning, actually. Let's go down and take a look at where we're at in Rocky Butte right now. I don't think this is doing it justice. So it's showing some freshies. On here, though, I got quite a few on the lightning detector. And then even outside Seattle area, let's have a look at this. Seems to be lightning going on out here. There it is. Oof, Woods Creek. Quite a bit of lightning into that guy there. And that's a heavy band of rain. Very heavy band of rain. Looks like Everett's taking a lot of rain right now. I'll turn off the numbers. Definitely taking some there. So that's a little bit more West Coast than we're used to seeing. Looks like around Portland, through Estacada and Malala. Let's head down there and see what we got. Oh, those are pretty good looking. So got some active cells down there. Got this line here that's knocking out a bunch. Through Malala, Estacada. Couple shots out here showing up on the east-northeast end side of Portland. It looks like some of these cells here could get a little bit active. So a fair bit down there in the Washington side. And I think that we're a little early in the afternoon up here still yet. And it's 3:30. We got time for some more of these to pop out here. Definitely showing fresh ones near Quesnel Forks now. Let's see if we can find that one. Showing a flash somewhere down around Quesnel Forks. So on this end of the, basically on this end of this storm cell, on that northeast side of it. It's a bit of a reacher maybe. Could be reaching out. So that one's pretty active. More active than maybe it wants to let on. Looking on here. Hit like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Buy me a coffee if you'd like. That would be amazing. Would totally appreciate that. Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. This is kind of a test run for things I might want to do in the future, you know, in terms of live streaming during severe events, you know, being able to, you know, when we get severe storm days, kind of a practice run for that cell down by Osoyoos seems to be slowing. I got the other radar set up and ready to go. I haven't figured out how to make this part simpler so that you don't have to see this. But I digress. Nice little nubby. What do we got for a return now in there? I see a darker red. 52.5. 52.5 dBz. Still nothing crazy. Maybe a little hailer in there. Grapple. Still waiting to see if any of these guys pop. We were expecting some of this activity around Williams Lake to do a little more. I think those this here represents that energy. And it's kind of moved off already. But it's still not out of the question. It's early. Got a couple of these cells down by Alkali. Dog Creek, Canoe Creek. Get a little bit more moisture from somewhere here as they move up towards Williams Lake. Drink up a little bit and grow up a little bit taller. These are guys out in the middle of the wilderness, essentially, those ones. That's a pretty good looking line, though. All the way through almost to grassy plains. And I bet you if the radar extended further, we'd see more of that out to Takaisi Lake. Is that how you say it, Hilding? I think it's Takaisi. I believe is the right pronunciation of it. Bit of a line there, and look how nice and clear this whole sector is. So that could provide some heating. You know, it's almost like what you want to see is the sky clear sometimes and allow the sun to beat down in this area before this line. And what that'll do is actually give more food for this. You know, long story short. Throwing out bunches of bolts. Bunches of bolts out there right now. Yeah, things have quieted by Osoyoos. So that cell seems to have more or less put itself out. Yet this one in the Caribou is really chucking out lightning. If there's dry areas in there, maybe they could start a spark. I mean, it's not great fire weather. So like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like we're at any risk of having out-of-control wildfires come from any lightning strikes right now. No. That doesn't mean fire is off the table or can't happen. Even if it's a little early for it. Even if it can't do much, even when it lights. We'll come back to the Caribou. Nakus seeing some precip. It's not a great radar return. I wonder if some of that precip is snowfall in the mountaintops. You got sort of a block on the radar here, some of this first mountain ranges. So you don't get good radar feeds. So it could be that the top of the cloud is showing snow where the radar is hitting it. And, you know, you can kind of give a thing like so, where you go, you click on the beam here, and I measure out. Watch this. Beam height. This is going to tell me how tall the beam is. So 100 kilometers out to Nakusp or so straight. It's 1.2 kilometers the beam is so 1,200 meters. You know, it doesn't seem like much, but that means it's not shooting where you think it's shooting. It's shooting higher up. So it's not getting a full view of the cloud directly as if it's hitting much closer, say, if it's hitting down here by Cherryville, where, you know, 400 meters is only the height at which the angle of the beam is shooting up towards the sky. Does that make sense at all to you? I hope so. A little bit of precip down by the ferry, maybe not right in Farquhar at itself at the moment. Oops. But up and down the lake looks like some squalls, a little precip, probably a little windy on the lake, I bet, right now on the ferry. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty windy on the lake right now. If you're, you can see here on the right-hand side, gusty in there. A little bit of a rough ferry ride going across there I've had before. It's like a big wind tunnel. There goes old Roger driving on by. Here's our cell that was by Osoyoos. It's lost steam. It's crossed into the dark country. Lost its steam. Bummer, eh? We'll go see if we can find a couple more of these storms that we were looking at. Here's that one that was dumping heavy rain. There's a better looking DBZ in there. 55, 60. So it could be a bit of hail in that core. Just crossing over FS20. I'm guessing that's forestry. Between Canyon Creek and Verlo. Strong little cell there. There's one in behind here. That was definitely one we had down by Portland. A number of fairly nicely developed little cells. Looks like it's dumping good on Yakult. A couple lightning shots up there in the mountains. That looks nice for Portland. That looks pretty nice. It's not creating any lightning, though. And the cells all to the south of Portland have now chilled out. But quite a bit of activity in Washington State still at this time, yeah. South east of DeSoto. Let's go see if we can find those ones. So, Portland, you're about to get hit by something. What do we have here? Special weather statements. Interesting. So, we got a line of storms out there. Oops. By Kennewick, Walla Walla. Now, this will have just expired, it looks like. They've kind of gone through there already. Strong thunderstorm will impact northwestern Morrow and south central Benton counties. So they had a pretty good thunderstorm through there. Gusty wind could knock down tree branches. Another special weather statement nearby. Small hail was in the mix. Central Walla Walla counties. Strong thunderstorm was expected there. And it was over Holman, 17 miles north of Pendleton. This looks like our guy here. This special weather statement would be current for sure. Strong thunderstorms will impact Walla Walla. So at 341, Doppler was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line from Eureka, 6 miles southwest of Prescott near Garrett. Movement was northeast at 40 miles an hour. Better looking. They're having the fun down there. They're getting all the fun. And back to KOTX, which is, like I say, the radar that I don't find is very high quality. Lots of new lightning strikes in the Caribou still. That one guy is kept active, and it is making its way more or less north. There it is. Now straight west to Quesnel Forks. I can more or less see it. Although I'm probably looking at this stuff here more so, blocking, obscuring. Coming towards us in Barkerville. That's where the fun is, friends. And if much changes, I guess I'll let you know. We could see some of these guys still develop out here. There's a couple guys out by the radar station itself that shows some colors. Something to pay attention to. This afternoon, friends. Excellent. I hope you're having fun with my experimental live streaming. That's partly cloudy in Calgary, says Brendan. Has the political BS affected my weather data access? In some cases, we found sites that we were looking at aren't available, or were for a while weren't, or records. Yeah, there's been a little bit of that. But the biggest thing has actually been not access restriction per se. It's in cutback of services. So like a lot of places have had to cut back on balloon launches, which gives us valuable information. We have other, so that's examples of like the quality of information we're getting now from some of the American modeling is at risk of deteriorating. And it's a really serious problem, actually, in the long run. It hasn't changed. South of Takaisi Lake, we do have some flashes out there now. Let's draw that up, set that up for you. So second active cell in the area. I keep closing the radar when I shouldn't. So south of Utsa, south of Takaisi. Here we go. By grassy plains, south of there. So again, they don't turn up very well on the radar because they're far out. But there is activity now lighting up in there. And still our cell straight south of us almost in Wells here. Southwest. Showing fair bit of activity. It's the guy who's winning the battle. But like I was saying before, we have this large stretch, and if enough sunlight is getting through there, it can have a positive effect in terms of, you can see here there's a gap, right? Some of that sun getting through, so that can drive that convection. Warmer slot, drier slot, then you have this cooler, moist air coming into it, and that creates clouds that want to stand up. We'll just go right straight to SAT here for a second. You can see on where our cloud tops are at, they're getting tall. Some tall cloud tops there. Minus 47 Celsius. That's tall. That's cold. So you're like, where's the energy to make these thunderstorms? It's only 12, 13 degrees here, whatever. It's like you look up and you see, like, well, the instability is also partly in the sky above us, right? It's drawing on cold air from a number of places. What happens is the warm air rises and it's coming into that really cold air. It doesn't have to be that warm of air to rise significantly when the air above it's so extremely cold. It's going to be still much warmer than the air it's coming into contact with above it, so it's going to allow for more convection, allow it to rise more. At least 4, 5, 6 lightning strikes there. Nearing Cheslada Lake is where that one is. Okay. Go back to here for a second and check one or two more things. Thanks for being so cool to me all the time, friends. The overcam works. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I kind of like it. It's different. It's like, holy fresh blast of lightning. In we'll go back. Our guy straight south of us, fresh blast. It just threw out a bunch of them. Let's see here. What's a better way to show you this right now? I don't have... we'll go like this. Fresh blasts of lightning. So that's a whole bunch of fresh ones. Like that's... that thing just lit up. It just went for it just really produced out there. That's unbelievable. Over 20 plus strikes right down at the Quesnel River. So it's crossing the Quesnel River. When it hit what happened was, so it crossed the Quesnel River. We'll look at this straight up on the map. Now it's going to be hard to see the Quesnel River, but it's down in here, right? So what's happened is, if you can imagine, as it crossed the river, it hit some lift off the slope of the hills on the other side. So it went like so. Now, let's say here's the other side. It's like here's the hillside. Now the air, it's coming down off the one side, starts to sink, and then hits the next side up. So it gets this extra orographic lift, this extra little woof to its convection. That's a way that I've seen storms get rotating and get particularly pissed off. Even here in Wells, I've seen storms rotate when they hit the top of Cow Mountain. The whole thing was just like woof, and the storm got really pissed off for a matter of minutes and then kind of settled down again as it went off the mountaintop. So the orographic lift can sometimes really influence the dynamics of the weather as it's happening. I should go and check my camera out there. It's been running for a long time, and I'd like to know that it's still recording data. Oh wow, it's quite a beautiful look outside the window here. Actually, it's quite a beautiful look. So why don't we set something up here for a second? Set something up here. I'm going to just give me a minute. I'm going to put something on to show you, to entertain you for a minute while I run out and check the camera, make sure it's actually recording yet. And I think you'll like this. I've been making these sort of like little educationals. I'm gonna put one on for you here for a second. To eat up a minute while I run out and check the camera. Oh, I better make sure my volume's up a bit. That should help. Okay, enjoy this. What the heck are smoke rays? Okay. What's Cheryl saying? Lightning strikes set off their phone west of Vernon. Yeah, so I'm getting quite a bit of fresh activity since I walked out the door. My camera's still recording out there, so that's wonderful. There's been an explosion of lightning in the Caribou in the last couple minutes, so we're going to go back, shut that off, and turn this back on, head over to our radar, which is now showing, look at that. That's a pissed off looking little storm. And looking out my window, it's pretty nasty looking out there. Look at that even. It almost seems like this storm has a little bit of a rotating attitude towards it coming off that as it's rising up over the Quesnel River Valley. So just an explosion. Over 50 lightning strikes there in that cell now in the last 10 minutes. And this guy here by the Blackwater is now producing. We got 7 brand new fresh strikes in there. So pay attention if you're in, looks like Stoner, Red Rock, your areas, Hickson, that may get, if more can pop up here around Hickson, if some of these guys can grow up. They seem to have enough of a clear slot to be able to do so. But our real action right now is just outside my window, just south of us. And I'm getting it all on film right now. It's incredible. We do have fresh strikes in southern BC now too to report on. So fresh lightning activity down there. We're going to switch radar stations and head down to Silver Star. Immediately, these guys pop. There it is. Not a very strong looking storm cell. No. It's not. I don't think it's going to hit you in Vernon. It's going to probably stay in these hills, move towards Falkland more. That one looks like Upper Nicola area, maybe seeing a little bit of the rain from that. Now, our guy by Osoyoos area has woke back up and woke up mad. So it redeveloped, it cycled, and now look at her go. This one's throwing over 50 lightning strikes just on the Canadian side alone. Plus, we got a couple more down by Nighthawk here. So this cell is really launched off. It is pretty dry down there. So it is a fire threat. Definitely a fire threat. And boom, and that just went nuclear. It took off so fast. So that one died off. It cycled. That's what happens is they go through process of living and breathing and dying out. We could look at that cycle process sometimes and explain to you. But what happens is the storm's outflow chokes itself off essentially sometimes, and then it needs to regrow all over again. We got some of these guys here that could pop near Penticton. They're more or less in line with this nasty little guy here. You can see how its wind fields look, but everything more or less moving the same direction, more or less towards the radar site. Whereas our guy in the Caribou here, this one looked like it was getting a little rotation coming off and still showing a little rotation coming off I think that's orographically influenced. And it's coming up over the Quesnel River Valley there, riding up the hills into the higher country, and it's getting particularly angry. Oh, it's very black out the window south of me too. It's beautiful. Now I'm at the point of do I shut off the live stream and go and film? What do I do, friends? That's a tough question. What else is going on out there? Severe thunderstorm in Georgia, flash flood in Arkansas. All right. Special weather statements out there. Nothing that interests us. Tornado watch. There's a tornado watch going on. I didn't know this. For these guys in Georgia. Tornado watch for portions of North Florida, southern Southeast Georgia, southern South Carolina, coastal waters, Monday morning and evening. So that's been going on all day. A couple tornadoes possible, scattered, damaging wind gusts 70 mile per hour. Severe storm potential should further increase into the atmosphere. A strong shear and moist, unstable air, mass supporting of damaging wind and tornado potential. Tornado watch area is approximately along 60 statute miles east and west of a line from 95 miles northeast of Vidalia, Georgia, 50 miles southwest of Tallahassee, Florida. So there's means tornado watch means the conditions are favorable for tornadoes. Tornadoes are possible there. Nonetheless, that's not really our experience here today, even if this storm is churning a little bit and coming right for us here. It's coming right for Barkerville. How it always does that. It always comes for us. Oh, and the time lapse is going to look awesome. It's going to really, really great. It's really going to be really great. I can't wait. Should be getting fresh radar images momentarily. It looks like a Soyuz probably hearing the thunder. Probably hearing that rumbling in a Soyuz. That's quite a few shots that popped off there, isn't it? Beautiful. So that storm really energized fast. We still have the Blackwater cell. Hasn't produced much since its quick flurry. And although it's still making new lightning strikes, it's settling down a little bit, our guy in the Caribou. Settling down just a little bit. Our one that was sort of east of Kilchena in the hills there has settled down. It's not thrown anything fresh in a little while now. But quite a bit has crossed straight west of Osoyoos in the mountains there. So fire starts could be an issue. Everybody in the Osoyoos area, keep your eye that direction and report any smoke you might be seeing. Because conditions aren't favorable for crazy fire. So this guy's settled down out by Douglas Lake a little bit. Nothing new there. So it made about 5 lightning shots and then kind of went back to sleep. But it could energize again. It doesn't seem to have very good structure. I'm trying to imagine where that cloud more or less is and how that looks. Still precip by New Denver, Carroll's Landing, Burton, Farquhar. Seen a little bit Edgewood. Seen a little bit of precip there. Out towards Galena Bay, up the ferry, up that 6 there towards Revelstoke on that. That's a beautiful drive. Looks like going over top of the pass. Could be some snow up there. Some sloppy conditions. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, being with us here in the channel. And look at that. Still showing some weak rotation there. Our storm in the Caribou. Okay, I'm clicking on the draw tool. Thank you. I draw poorly. But look at... So what this is saying, right, is that these winds... We have our radar station... is north of Quesnel, right? So these winds are heading, the green on these velocity scans always means the winds are heading towards, okay? So what does red mean is it means winds are heading away. Winds are heading away. So when you put that information together, some are heading away and some are heading towards. Well, what is that actually showing you here? Because you can't get a measurement on this so much, but what it's actually showing is the storm is rotating a little. It's pretty ticked off little storm. And quite a bit of lightning now straight south of Osoyoos too, out by Colville, Omak. Looks like you're in the area of that. And look how this is becoming like a bit of a cluster. And certainly looking at it from here out my window, I'm just seeing one big mass of dark plus, a really white overshooting top. It's like sunny here in town currently. Well, to the south of us, it looks like aggressive. I wonder if this can stay alive long enough. It's a good time of day still. It's got in the next hour it would make it here. It would be nice if we got some actual thunder rumbling in this region. Wouldn't that be great? That would make my week. Couple fresh ones in our guy near the radar tower. There's a couple freshies in there, and that's looking like a real mess because you're right there by the tower. So look at that. I had an update. So somewhere in here we got some fresh ones out by the Blackwater. Or do we? Those ones just went yellow too. That's where our best action is. That's where our best action is in the Caribou. It's coming right here, right to me. Can't wait. Got some sign of rotation on it. I'm not saying it's producing a tornado. The topography sometimes, riding up and down the big hills, sometimes gets storms spinning and angry and churning. I've seen it myself here quite a few times in Wells. Different behaviors in different places. That storm's now crossing just to the west side and heading north past Osoyoos there. So you'll be on the highway soon on the 97 there. And on the 3, you're going to be taking some lightning, some rain. How long it stays active before it cycles again, it's hard to say. Even our guy south of me here seems to have calmed down a little bit. Yeah, we got fresh strikes. Those are all fresh strikes. So this is pretty active. It's crossing Highway 3 momentarily now. It's probably a little bit of precipitation's already begun. Those are all fresh strikes. Just moving in a straight, gusty line, it looks like. So that's passing through the valley for sure. That's going to be coming towards the north end of Osoyoos Lake is where that's going to pass. It's going to follow this guy more or less. Maybe a little bit. Oops. Maybe a little more that direction, but somewhere through that north end of the lake. Throwing quite a bit of lightning right now. More detections. Fresh strike by likely. We'll head up to likely. This little popper right here. Set a fresh bolt out. Sort of on the way to Spanish Lake. Past the airport there. And our other one has calmed down. It's not throwing anything fresh. Look at that, even lost its color a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets here and if it can live. That may be most of the story in the Caribou, unless some of these guys can reinvigorate. That may be more or less the show today, I think Osoyoos is still kicking out a lot of activity. That's and all the way down into the Washington State. Wow. Quite a bit of activity there. Let's head south here for a minute and catch up on that again. So first we'll look at Silver Star. Already picking up some of these guys. We'll go to KOTX, even though it's, look at these. These aren't great radar feeds, like images. Even right next to the radar, it's like, However, it's more or less showing the point. Yeah, it's right through the center part of Washington State and right on down. Yeah, those aren't the... They could stand to have better radars there, I think, now. It's these guys by Kennewick that seem to be the more active line in the area, just past Prescott heading to Starbuck, Dixie, Milton, Freewater. Good line of storms there. Areas northwest of Spokane. Couple flashers down south of Osoyoos. We don't have good radar coverage for that area here. Like nothing will reach this area, with any reliability. So it is what it is. A lot of rain down south. Messy down there on the coastal areas. Look at that. Oof. Gross. Raining hard through Abbotsford areas, Matski. Looks like it's fairly gross on the south side of the lower mainland. Vancouver looks like it's taking some rain. Nice over on the island, I suppose. Lucky for them. Still kicking out lots of lightning by Osoyoos. Calm down a little. In the hills there, sort of riding right up along Highway 3. A bunch of the activities in here. So that's the last ones to really watch for right now. For if you're down in that area. Any of these cells could bubble up still in the next little bit. This guy, that's due west of Vernon, could organize itself into a weak storm. Looks like not much in the Kamloops area tonight. And these guys south of me look like they're kind of falling apart a little bit. This line in the Caribou West could see another cell or two pop in there. Nothing's really greedy looking. This isn't bad, though. Straight to the west of Alexandria. We could see a couple of these still fire up along that 97 corridor when they pass through, especially when they get down to the drier air. They come into and then they hit down towards the Fraser River. You could see them change their attitudes a little bit. That's what we're looking at over the next little bit in the BC interior. More or less, that's the deal. I've been talking now for an hour. Let's see what's going on here in the comments. Wow, a lot of people still watching. Thank you. No sound in the video? You didn't hear the sound? That's too bad. Should have. But that's good to know. Okay, yeah. Oh, you're right close to the radar station at Silver Star. That's cool. Getting pissed on in Calgary, says the unaccompanied senior. Yeah. Well, I've just got to figure out why sound wasn't working on that. But also, you can, what you can do is you can go to my playlist. Like if you go to the page, Joey I'll show you here actually. Why don't we show you? I'm going to turn on the window here, and we'll go look at Joey's channel for a second here before we're done today. View Joey's channel. So there's a really nice video here. First of all, that usually comes up at the top, but it's covered right now at the Thunderstorm Risk BC this afternoon. But there's a video there that's called 40 Crazy Minutes in the Wilderness or something to that effect. Check that out sometime if you haven't before, because that's some wild. It's like a whole bunch of wild footage from the past 3 years, and you'd be like, oh, Joey's not just some guy who sits around and talks shit. So if you go along this line, you got videos, of course. It'd be nice to see these numbers go up on these videos. Shorts, got the shorts. Made one today. Some people didn't like, and so here's a live where you can find the meteorological report on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. We'll be back here live with Frankie McDonald and everybody. Podcast is also where you can find the show. And then so playlists. So recommendations, fire season 2023. I highly recommend because it's just like 68 videos, and a lot of my summer was crazy. Storms and craziness. There's 92 videos in there. A lot of like storm chases and thunderstorm videos. And wild stuff, wildfires. Seafood John Kaufman. That's a good one if you're interested in esoteric things, such as, I don't know, the conditioning of your body or martial arts or whatever. The Bad News Show is me more or less talking my politics and my ideas. And I'd like to make more history videos. I never got around to it, whether in the fire environment, whether of education. That's great stuff. Chilcotin Horse Encounter, Adventures in the Caribou Plateau, Tomahawk Fire Crew. These are all good playlists that you could eat up hours of your life watching. And I encourage you to. BC Firefighters, another one, 192 videos in there. That's kind of where I put like a whole bunch of wildfire videos of all kinds and different kinds of videos. I'll have a look at the playlist here and show you for a second what I mean. Me talking fundamentals of firefighting, accidents, fire scenes, interviews, us on wildfires, all kinds of stuff in there to check out, right? So just sending some ideas out there to tell you that the channel, I could always use more, more views across the board. It really helps me a lot. Anyways, last look this afternoon. Pop back over to radar. See, some of those clouds along that line are pretty tall. Like, they do have potential still yet this afternoon to get a little bit of growth in there. And this one south of us could reinvigorate before it gets to Wells, but I doubt it. It'll probably just hit as a big blast of rain and whatnot. You can see some of these guys that would like to do more in Osoyoos region. They have crossed up over into some of this higher country there around Osoyoos. Nothing major. Could see a couple of these guys like the one by Karamias pop. Could see these guys to the west of Summerland pop. Could see these guys to the west of Lake Country and Kelowna. Could see a couple of them develop into Thunderhead still yet this afternoon. And if you do, head to, if you notice that, go to the Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers and post video or images so that we can all see them. I need to spend more time making video content out of what people are putting up on Weather Watchers, and I promise to do that more. So that's something I promise to do more. Oh, lightning shot by the highway there, is that right? No, but there's one southwest of Prince George now showing. That would be in one of these cells down here somewhere. Probably this guy. No. Yeah. Lightning shot out there. I'm trying to get out of here. More lightning starts happening. Couple fresh ones by likely, so still just two there. Got one fresh one due west of Vernon in those cells. Just one. Just a flash. Nothing major. More interesting because we love weather than anything, right? Is really what's going on. And our Soyuz guy still producing. It's crossed the lake. So it's thrown a couple bolts now on the east side of the lake here. Somewhere right around there. So it's going to cross and make its way into the higher country soon. And there's another bolt that's actually further out. Somewhere up here. that's hit, according to Lightning Tracker. It looks like maybe a reacher. Poof. So lots of lightning there. 50 fresh strikes. A bunch just south of Highway 16. So yeah, now I got a location on this one. It's definitely this cell right here. So a couple of lightning. So maybe coming across Highway 16, you might see a couple flashes if you're driving south east of Prince George. It's east, I guess, but it's like that south. Or you can maybe scratch that. I was pretending that I was driving that direction. I shouldn't. If you're on the highway east of Prince George, we'll say that. 4 lightning shots there now. So we're not done, even if I think I've served my usefulness this afternoon chatting. If you want to leave a super there, that would be a great help for me. It's like busking for a weatherman, I guess, is what I'm doing here. Definitely waiting for fire season. I'm definitely financially at my lowest I've been in a long time. But I'm trying to hold the faith here that the channel is going to become something someday, and sometimes you just got to go for it. You just got to believe. You got to just throw caution to the wind and just fucking go for it. It's lightning strike by Turtle Mountain and Vernon. Neat. Yeah, PG turning gray looking south. So, yeah, there's a little bit more out there. Keep your heads up. Out there, a couple fresh lightning strikes in that one. Still to the west of Vernon. So, it's out there. It's happening. It's still going to be happening, even if I shut off here in a minute. That one by Osoyoos is very active. In fact, we've had a couple shots right downtown. It looks like there's been lightning right over downtown, or perhaps right even in downtown Osoyoos now. So that's what you get, Osoyoos. You're getting smacked. This has been great, Joey. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Really do appreciate everyone's support. Yeah, trying to build something here, because I know that when fire, and this is kind of a test run, like I was saying, because when fire season comes, we start getting severe storm watches and severe storms. I'd like to be able to go be more practiced at this, go live, have things sort of dialed so that I can really deliver, be the only one who's delivering, up-to-date, accurate information that's going on, right? So, and that'll probably involve having my other computer down so I can monitor multiple things at once, as well as with the phone. Yeah, over 500 lightning strikes in that stretch from basically Osoyoos down towards Fruitvale Council, those areas. It's not in Idaho yet. No, it's still Washington State. No, it's like the border there, I guess. Somewhere that area. And it doesn't matter. Hundreds of lightning strikes still from here, from Osoyoos down to there. So really happening. Hey, Justin, good to see you. Just about to shut down, actually. You're a little late to the party. Yeah, fresh one south of Highway 16 there, east of Prince George. Nothing major. Cells in the Caribou seem to have quieted off. Out my window, looking less dark, more gray, starting to rain a little bit. So the clouds, not as tall as it was. It's losing some of its shape. It's been sunny here mostly while it's been just nasty looking south of us. Yeah, crossing Osoyoos Lake. Couple shots right downtown Osoyoos, maybe up to 3 lightning strikes in town. That's exciting. Boom. Watch it. That'll be crossing over Osoyoos Lake, be moving up into the high country. And when it completes that, I won't have much reason to talk. We do have some fresh strikes in the hills there between Osoyoos and Beaverdale. So Beaverdale might be an area that still gets a bit of the fun. Just kind of try to give you a. So here's Highway 33 up from Midway. So Beaverdale's somewhere in here. Kind of the direction things are going. They could survive the mountaintops, maybe even be energized a little bit. And still time left. It's only 4:30. So some of these won't fall apart. That might still maintain some cohesion for a while. Might continue on. It was really incredible. Our guy here, before it kind of fizzled out in the Caribou, it had a little bit of rotation on it. It was pretty neat. But it seems to have mostly gone quiet in those areas south of me. And wow, that area seems to be kind of quiet out by, where are we here? Sorry. This guy. There's a whole bunch of activity that's happened in here. Just south of Monty Lake. So a bunch of fresh strikes there. And some of that country when I was going through there still had snow on it. Some of it's dry if it's at lower elevation. So you live in those areas, pay attention. Could see some smoke out there. Again, fire conditions aren't really conducive to excessive or extreme burning. No. That doesn't necessarily mean that, localized fire can't happen from a lightning strike. That was a real flurry of activity from our Osoyoos storm. It seems to have calmed itself a little bit. And it's going to be moving into the hills. And that means we only got so many left that could do anything on the board here right now that would contact society at least. I don't know if these guys in the West Caribou have time before it gets too cool out to really organize. I think the guys that came up out of Williams Lake earlier and are coming more or less this direction were our best shots in the Caribou. And for a little while, it really threw a lot of lightning. There was that 1 10-minute splurge where it just went and threw out 50 bolts. And, that's great. That's a storm that gets really active for a little bit. And that's what I was saying in the forecast, too, that these wouldn't be storms that last hours or, are capable of that. They would be more like half an hour to an hour max they could be active. That was what we more or less saw with some of that. I think at least. Okay, well, that's the stream, I guess. That's an hour and a half. That's the stream. Thanks, everybody, for being here, checking in. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for just watching every day. Helps all the time. Storm season's fun. Yes, I can't wait. It's so boring at this time of year. Although we do get lightning more than most people do in Wells in the mountains here before storm season. Days like today, it won't surprise me if those guys that are coming towards us. I mean, I got the time lapse shooting right now. It won't surprise me if there's a rumble in the area here when they get to the higher country. It's completely normal and typical, and sometimes a daily occurrence for many, many days on. Sometimes, most days of a week we get weather that does that here at certain points in the spring, April and May. And then, we get kind of the warm up happens, and then maybe storm behavior becomes a little more typical as we get into late June into July, where you need an actual, properly developed thunderstorms that are growing the way that you expect them to, from frontal systems or from heat or what have you, right? Whereas these topographically induced storms, they seem to come in, and these little cells come in and they get active for a little bit. They hit a mountaintop, and like how we saw that one cross the Quesnel River and rotated for a bit on the radar. It's really typical. It is that rides that orographic lift. It rides the countryside and just, I've seen it so many times here over the years myself. Weak rotation when the storms roll into Wells or roll past. There's videos on the channel here of exactly that. One of which pretty funnel cloud-like, a couple of them did produce definite wall cloud and some others, right? So again, it's like as soon as it kind of gets past the topography that's helping that, it fizzles out and loses its structure. And what happened with that storm today, it threw out 50 bolts. Then as it crossed the river, went up the upslope, got rotating, and then it just went and kind of fell apart, and it pissed it off for a little while, but it actually forced it to the act of pissing it off is what choked it out and killed it in the end, right? So, okay, that's me for this afternoon. Hit like, share, subscribe, and thanks if you do hit the thanks button Makes my day when someone does. Appreciate you all. We'll talk to you soon. Gonna try to get good at this live streaming thing more and more and more, and be ready for storm season for days that really matter. Today's the practice run, but there's gonna be days that really matter in the future where we're like, severe storm day, let's go. Fire conditions are there, let's go. We got reports of fire starts. I want to be able to do that in the channel when I'm here. Of course, eventually I'll be out fighting fires, I hope, and making a living. And when that happens, do my best to keep you informed. There's always that problem where the time where you need me the most is where I end up getting busy sometimes, and I apologize for that in the past. Try my best to keep